Hey, Intuitive Soul Tribe. Mel, Intuitive Soul Coach here, excited to bring to you today's collective reading where we're going to do pick a theme. Instead of pick a card, we're going to do pick a theme to help set those intentions for the new year and ground them into reality. So welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and welcome if you are new. These are general readings. Please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, collective, welcome. Now, you may want to peek at each of the four themes. There could be something for each and every one of you in each pile, or feel free to jump ahead. I will post the timestamps in the description box below, but starting off here, your first theme is new life, and how convenient as we cross the threshold into a brand new year. So new life is going to be full of juicy tidbits and information of what you're manifesting, how to co-create, how to move forward on your path and take action instead of just talking the talk. How can we walk the walk? The next theme is all about finances. For those of you that are interested in money, career, wealth, abundance, this may be the best pile for you. Pile number 3 will be detox. For those of you that want a little more insight into your health with the chakra systems, we'll take a dive into this. There are a few specific chakras that did come out in this pile as well. We'll talk about different ways that you can be your best, healthiest, fittest self in 2024. And lastly, we have romance. Pile number 4 is all about the love. Whether this is romantic partnerships, this can also be self-love. It can be weddings, marriage, soulmate energy, twin flame. It can be intimacy and even passion for life that may have been interrupted due to relationship setbacks in the past. So if that resonates with you, or if it's calling out to you, or if trust is an issue of any kind, this could be your pile. So I will meet you on the other side. Again, new life, finances, detox, and romance. Hello, pile number 1. For those of you that chose new life, excellent option here. It means that you've been undergoing a lot of transformation. Big changes have been occurring in your life, possibly over the last few months, over the last few years, but there's been a lot happening, and you may have felt like you were stuck in the energy of waiting. It's like you're between worlds. You know that there's a shift happening, but it may have felt like you've been in that hanged man energy, kind of stuck in a little bit of limbo, stuck in a mode where things weren't rolling out in the timing that you would have liked, but you understand on a soul level that changes were occurring. New life for you in 2024 could finally manifest in the physical reality, whether it's a new move, whether it is a new business opportunity, perhaps it's love, maybe it's divorce, maybe it's starting that new class online. It could be starting a health routine that you stick to and it betters your life. So I feel like a lot of you, this is the year where not only are you moving forward with intention, but I feel like this is all about rebirth, because a lot of you have gone through that death energy of transformation. There may have even been moments throughout the past few months or past few years where you've dealt with loss of some sort, physical loss, emotional loss, mental, financial, whatever you name it. A lot of you've got hit with all of them, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually even, and now you're coming out of that stage. A lot of you have even felt a little bit isolated, maybe even a little bit lonely, but this is all about growth. This is about the new journey. So when you think of the caterpillar transforming into a butterfly, it doesn't look back and say, I wish I was a caterpillar. It says, wow, how did I transform from that to this? Right? And I feel like that's what 2024 is all about for you. So you may be setting some very strong intentions for yourself this year about finally seeing the hard work that you have been doing to integrate different processes in your life, different systems, different beliefs, different energies all together, and finally feel like you've made progress and you can see this progress happening for you. Now, I had to chuckle as well because you had out of the Shaman's Dream Oracle, I mean, you can't make that up. Look what came out, New Beginnings. This is all about the Moon Maiden, card 41. Some of you may be 41 years old. 4-1 could be significant. Maybe you are in a 5 life path or 5 personal year number, but this is all about new ideas, collective. It's about beginnings and staying curious about your path as well. So we're going to read the message from the guidebook here, and it says, the Moon Maiden arrives to offer you a new beginning, a new face and facet of yourself that is aching to be shown to the world. Those qualities that you have been quietly cultivating are ready for the limelight. Yeah, you've had to go through this cultivation period. You've had to go through a little bit of, maybe even for some of you, a dark night of the soul. But the secrecy was important, for it protected your new face and kept what was precious close to your heart. Even for those of you that went through a deep healing process, you had to kind of keep something close to you at that time in order for you to feel a sense of security or feel a sense of protection in the best way you knew how. It says, but now it is time to come forward in full splendor. Announce a new you to yourself first. Reveal it slowly to the world like the waxing moon. Allow others to be surprised by how mature and grown up this side of you is. Now it's time to set yourself free. The Moon Maiden belongs only to herself, and she is summoning the parts of you that challenge convention, that refuse to be intimidated, and that cannot be tamed or put inside a golden cage. The Moon Maiden invites you, collective, to shine with your own light, to have radiant curiosity, and to ask anyone who offers you a mouthful of dogma, why do you believe this is so? Question everything others assume is a given, and do not collude with the drama around you. Become an unpredictable being, yet an immensely reliable friend. The Moon Maiden invites you to answer only to yourself and reminds you that you are not anyone's property. Be true to your soul's calling, even as some around you in a relationship or a job want to capture your light inside a bottle. You know how to rise to the occasion, just as unfailingly as the moon does. When the time comes, you return to darkness and become enshrouded in mystery until you are ready to return. I really like this message for you because it means that no matter what, you're going to shine again. Just like, the moon and the sun, right? The moon knows when to come out. It's a given. It's not something that the moon just says, I'm just not going to go through this waxing period. No full moon for you guys this month, right? No, it goes through these cycles, and you yourself have gone through a lot of cycles, pile one. And I feel that 2024, this is a cycle where you've been maybe in that dark period for quite some time, or it's just felt maybe ever since COVID or ever since a major tower moment that's happened in your life, you've been trying to scramble to pick up the pieces in some way, shape, or form. So I feel like this is the year where you come out of hibernation, come out of hiding, you make some big moves in your life. There could be, again, a lot more travel or something that maybe you even put on hold. I'm getting 2008 could be significant for you. Maybe 2008 was a big year. Maybe it was a year that you shifted careers, or maybe you wanted to go back to school. Maybe you had children. Maybe you got divorced or married. Whatever 2008 brought about, I feel like there's some sort of completion or addition added on from that energy. I hope that resonates. Now, we also have the coins showing up for you. So there could be a lot more money coming in for you in 2024 if you've struggled, and you may want to check out the finance sector of the reading as well, but this is about good investments. Now, a lot of you have been investing your time, your energy, your money into a job or career that paid the bills. But I get a little bit of a different twist with this. I feel for you, pile one, that you are switching things up a little bit where you're working smarter, not harder. This could be about regenerative income. For some of you, you could even be using some of that money that you've accumulated. Maybe you've been sitting on a pile of gold at your property. Maybe 2024, you're going to sell your property and you'll gain a little bit of money. For some of you, a lot of money. They just gave me the blinking threes, like 3 times the amount. So maybe you've purchased the property for, 100,000 and now it's worth 300,000. Or maybe you are tripling up your amount that you have made. Maybe you make more in 2024 than you've made in the last 3 years. So I feel like there could be a really beautiful abundance, a trio of abundance here for you. For some of you, maybe it's 3 different opportunities that make you money. But some of you could be in sales, maybe finance. You are definitely getting a raise or hitting some sort of lucky streak. And it's not like it's just showing up out of the blue. This is luck that you've created yourself. It is about you putting out good karma, so therefore you're reaping the rewards of your dharma in a sense. And I feel like a lot of you, you're going to see that there is money coming in because you have raised your vibration. You've shifted something, and that's why you have this new life. Because perhaps if you are doing what you did last year, you're going to get the same amount of money, or you're going to be in the same energy, the same situation. If you have the same beliefs that you've had the year prior, things are not going to shift or move much. But because a lot of you have shifted and altered your belief system, and that's really important here. You've shifted and altered a belief system within you, and you've raised your frequencies, raised your vibrations, and therefore you're going to have some sort of different results coming in here. Maybe you do go off and start that business, and even though maybe it takes a little bit of time to build up, I feel like the rewards are going to come back threefold for a lot of you, may hopefully even tenfold, right? So I feel like there's going to be riches in many different forms for you, not just financially, although we need money, right? Money's a great thing to survive. It is part of the flow, but it's not the only thing that can fill that abundance cornucopia. Now, it's interesting to note that you also have the moon. So I love that all these cards kind of flow in together here. That's how spirit works though, right? Flow. When you're in the flow, when there's synchronicity showing, then this stuff shouldn't surprise you. But we actually have the moon card showing up, and you had the moon maiden, which was about new beginnings. So when the moon shows up, a lot of you are digging to the truth of some subconscious beliefs around a situation in your life that maybe you were wearing some rose-colored lens on. Perhaps you fell in love with the idea or the illusion or the potential of what something could be, or even the opposite. Maybe there were too many fears, false evidence appearing real. Either direction, it's illusion based. It's not something that we dig deep down into the truth, into the subconscious. And that's what you've been working on altering. I feel like you're getting in touch with your emotions more, but not only are you in touch with your emotions, I feel instead of hanging on to specific emotions, you are letting them come in, and you're telling yourself, maybe for example, sadness. Maybe you are finally allowing the waves of sadness to come through you, and you're saying to yourself, instead of avoiding being sad, even though deep down we suppress it, that can create dis-ease, and it can really wreak havoc on the chakra system, the physical body system. It can affect the energies of what we bring into our lives. It can just be a whole mad mess at times because we attach ourselves. I feel like you're telling yourself, well, sadness is actually a healthy emotion. It's part of the human experience. But what's not healthy is to hang on to these things. So a lot of you have been working on letting go. And that was actually going to be the 5th pile of this reading, was letting go. It was at the bottom of the deck. And then Spirit said, no, Melissa, the letting go piece is actually part of each and every one of the piles. So new life, right? Detox, romance, finances. There's pieces that you are letting go of, collective, in order to raise your vibration and your frequency. But you also are seeing the shadow of something. You're seeing the truth of a situation. And I also received the message that we are no longer going to be engulfed in the illusions or the facades or the conditionings. We're going to have that clear, decisive free will choice to choose which side we want to be on. I mean, we've always had that free will choice, but sometimes we've been naive. Sometimes we've turned a blind eye and we said, well, if I can't see it, it's not happening. Not anymore, right? But I feel like that's a good thing for you, collective, because that's going to allow you to face the shadows and open yourself up to a brighter side, being able to see things through the lens of reality, the reality that you are wanting to create for yourself, and knowing that, yes, there are things that are happening around you, but you don't have to succumb to the lower vibrations, that you have that choice to let things flow through you. So powerful energy there with the moon coming in. There is also clarity versus uncertainty. Instead of, sometimes you hear the phrase, ignorance is bliss. I'm sure some of you have heard that before. Ignorance, if I don't know much about it, then I can't do much about it, right? A lot of us are waking up to a sense of whatever has been hiding in the shadows, right? Whatever has felt a little bit ignorant, we are going to dive into that energy. Even on a subconscious level, you're going to start to see that your subconscious is kind of coming to the surface here, waking up on a conscious level. So your body, your mind is going to push you towards an area that you want to know more about. You may notice that you're interested in taking some new classes, maybe meeting new types of people, that there are deep things coming to the surface that you are being called to move in that direction. Now you have the Two of Cups, spiritual union. This is really wonderful, and I was hoping that this would show up in the romance category, but it's actually showing up here for you, and this is why, because this is a spiritual union beyond the physical. And the message that I received as well is we're going deep. That's why we have the moon. 2024 isn't about, surface level commitments. It's not saying, yeah, I want to kind of just dabble into that area. I may want to take a math class, but it's going to be the type of math class that I just need to learn the basic algebra, or I just need to learn, multiplication and division, right? Nope. We're going to learn, algebra. We're going to learn trigonometry. We're going to learn all of it, right? And I don't even know what all their other types. That's not my favorite subject, but I feel like we're going deep and we're learning it all. So what's happening is, again, on a subconscious level, you have this, this idea, I want to learn math, but there could have been fears, right? Fears or illusions that said, but I only want to learn this much math because that math's way too hard. We're going to dive into that so-called hard, right? Because it's just an illusion. If you have this pull to learn about something or to enter into unions that are based on a deep spiritual connection versus surface, instead of just meeting someone and say, hey, George, how was your day today? Right? And that's it. And maybe you end up marrying George, or you did 20 years ago. And now you and George, you only talk about the birds that landed on, the porch out back. It's very surface. Now you're going to meet a George, and not only are you going to talk about the bird that landed on, on the back porch, but you're going to dive into, maybe that bird. You want to research more about it, understand the spiritual piece of the bird, and it could be something that grows and builds between you and this partner. It's something that you have a deeper conversation about. So I feel for a lot of you, whether this is partnerships, whether it is career, whether it is learning, knowledge, whatever it may be, this is the time where we get in deep. And I feel whatever you create, whatever you enter into in 2024, it has the potential to not just be potential, because that's what we had in the past that we fell in love with that didn't ground into reality, or it wasn't sustainable. I feel like that potential is grounding in reality, and it's something that could really be absolutely magnificent for you, pile one. And lastly here, we have the Seven of Pentacles, patience and planning. This is typically my course correction card. So for those of you who are, you're moving forward you could be advancing. So let's say you have a business and you've kind of hit a little bit of a glass ceiling and you're like, okay, where do I go from here? The new life, the new beginnings could be something that shatters you past that glass ceiling, and it allows you to have these new ideas, new inventions, new creation. It helps you bring in new people, new contracts. It takes it a step deeper, right? It goes below the surface, or in this case, above the glass ceiling, right? In order for you to plan some new things in your life. So patience is paying off here, but I also feel like your plans are getting put into motion, and you're going to see that a lot of these things that you start, they're going to be very lucrative, because I keep getting here the 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles, and even the World. So things that are going to last for quite some time, if not the rest of your time here on Earth. So that is what I have for you, pile one. I hope it resonates. If so, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button, and feel free to jump to another category if you would like, or if our time has ended here. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Hey, pile two, you chose finances. So you are here wondering about your finances, your career, your wealth, and your money. Now, 2024, you may be setting the intention of abundance. Maybe you want to add more to your savings. You want to save more for your dream home, for traveling, for retirement, whatever it may be for you. There could also be some big payouts coming in 2024. If there have been any legal issues, there may have been concerns around money, family, inheritance, things of that nature. I do feel some sort of fortune or investments that are going to bring a return. There's going to be some return on something that has been maybe a little difficult or challenging. For those of you that are looking for new income sources, such as a raise, maybe a new career option, possibly some of you are considering retirement as well, or maybe you already are retired and you're wondering, what else do I need to do? Do I go back to work? Do I start a hobby or a side gig? So that's what we're going to tune into here. So finances, you've come to the right place. And I like this money tree because it is growing and there's plenty of expansion here, right? It's not capped. It's not, that's not as big as it's going to get. There's plenty of room for growth and opportunities. And that kind of leads to the Shaman's Dream Oracle. We pulled the teachability card with the hollow bone here. It's also card 28. When you break that down, it does equal 10. So there could certainly be some new opportunities for teachable moments in 2024, whether you go back to school, maybe there's some online classes, there could be some certifications that help you grow your finances. I also get here, some of you could be working with a financial professional. You could be learning the ins and outs or the trades of something regarding business, or even some breakthroughs I'm getting. So we're just going to take a sneak peek at the message here for you with 28. Some of you could be born on the 28th, or you may be 28 years old. This is all about teachability, humility, being empty so that the wind of spirit can breathe through you. So I am getting, when it comes to finances, some of you have struggled. Maybe you've even lost everything. Okay. Some of you have had to file bankruptcy. Some of you filed unemployment, or you've lost jobs. You've lost a big chunk of money. And you're probably wondering, oh, Melissa, I don't see any payout. There was not a payout that should have happened here. And I feel like you kind of had to go through a situation where it felt like you lost everything to gain everything. And that was a theme for someone a while back. Maybe it was Virgo, possibly Capricorn as well, where you felt like you had to go through, or you did go through a situation, but it's only to bring you more abundance than ever before, but built on a solid foundation where it's not going to get ripped out from underneath you. The hollow wing bone of an eagle is a flute for the shamans. The appearance of the hollow bone invites you to become empty of your notions of who you are. To check your ego at the door and to know that this is not about you. Relinquish your need to be right and to express an opinion, as this will not change anything right now. You're being called to practice humility. I'm getting the energy of the Five of Cups, a little bit of maybe even that victim mentality of, the world is out to get me, or, no matter what I do, I'm just knocked down, or it feels like I'm always the one suffering and everybody else gets their free ride. So for some of you, maybe there was a little bit of a belief system that this good fortune isn't going to happen, or it's going to take too long, or it's too hard. I feel like that's what you are getting rid of here. And it's interesting, and I shared this in pile 1, and I'll share it in each of the piles, because there almost was a 5th pile. It was the letting go card, and it was at the bottom of the deck. And as I was about to pull it, Spirit said, no, Melissa, that's the underlying energy of each of the themes, the letting go piece, because there's pieces that we need to let go of to fully be able to rise above, right? Rise above some of the frequencies that have weighed us down, or some of the, not so much frequencies, but conditioning, beliefs, experiences. And you must work on letting go of some of those in order to reprogram. And the word that actually came in while I was tuning into this energy and connecting with finances was reconfiguration. So it is about you reconfiguring, on a self-worth and net worth type of level. Do you believe that you are worthy of abundance? Do you believe that your skills and your services are something that are, useful? Are they of the light, or are they of the ego? And I feel like that's what this card is talking about as well. Hollow yourself out and hear the winds blow through you and play through you like a flute. You will learn the language of the squall and the storm, and understand the message in the summer breeze. There is an important communication waiting for you. Humility is the swiftest path for you to become like hollow bone. Drop all notions and titles that bolster your ego. Eliminate the doer and allow things to happen of their own accord. Remember that you can accomplish most anything if you are willing to let someone else take credit for it. Whew, that's a big one. And that is a really big one that a lot of spirits, or I should say souls having a human experience, a lot of humans have difficulty with, because we want credit, right? We want people to give us credit for our work, or we want to have that title, or we want to have that, that fancy car, those things. And I feel like that's what you're dropping. Not that you can't have those things, but it's the belief around it that is really stifling some of you as well. Hollow bone has come to caution you to believe only 50% of what others think, and only 10% of what you think. Trust your experiences, not what you have read in sacred books or holy text. This will allow you to turn apparent danger into opportunity. Remember that you are an insignificant grain of sand in the grand scheme of life. And as important as the brightest sun. Wow. Okay. I had to read that because it says an insignificant grain of sand. And I was thinking as I was reading that, well, you're not insignificant. And it says, but you're as important as the brightest sun. And I didn't read these prior. I pull the cards and I go through it with you. Look at your outcome. You have the sun here. You are as important as the brightest sun. Okay, so there is something here quite strongly around ego, around title, around all of the expectations that humans put around finances, money, right? Well, if you wear this brand name, or if you have this brand name purse, you're better off, right? Or if you look a specific way, you're better off. If you drive a car, that's this brand, then you must have money, and it must mean your worth is worth more than that person over there that's, scraping their food from a dumpster, right? So there's something here along the lines of ego, whether it is altered ego, whether it is belief, because I also get the 5 of Pentacles. We're just going to pull here on the spot. We're going to pull because there's a little bit of struggle. And some of you maybe you've already shut this off. Maybe you're thinking, Melissa, what the heck are you talking about here? But we're going to clarify, because I feel like it just has to do with, I don't want to say lowering an expectation, because it's great to set intentions. But I also feel that if you are tying up the egoic piece of it, and you're trying to manifest from a place of fear, which can be attached to the names, right? The titles, a fear of, if I don't have that title, then they're going to see me in a different way, right? If I don't drive that vehicle, if I come rolling in a crappy chitty chitty bang bang, right? They're going to point fingers, snicker, and they're not going to take me seriously. So there is something here about finding balance within that. Maybe releasing judgment, releasing criticism, maybe towards others or oneself. Let's clarify that energy here, Spirit. Wow. And look at that. We have the Three of Swords. So yeah, it feels very disheveled. It feels very disappointing. And once you realize this, okay, you may want to go back and rewind that because it's pretty deep, this hollow bone. It's like when I do these readings and I do these channelings, and when I connect to spirit, I make myself a hollow bone. And by doing so, I say, there's always a prayer that I say prior to each and every session, whether in person, whether, while we do these readings. But I always ask for spirit to set aside my own personal stuff so I can be the best channel, the best hollow bone, right? That I can possibly be, to allow for the messages to be clear flowing, to allow me to be open to the divine messages that are in the highest good of you all, right? And that's part of experiencing that free flow of energy. And that's why Spirit is saying it's important for you to be the hollow bone. Don't let some of the attachments or beliefs, even though it did talk about hanging on to 10% of our own experience and 50% of others as well. We might have to go back and look at that. I might have to go back and re-listen, because there are some very significant pieces of information when it comes to finances, and that could help you get out of some sort of blocks. Because what we see here, we have the moon and the sword, and I didn't want to go too far, but I had to show you that sun because it literally said that about the sun. This is your outcome. But first, there's something here about you seeing some truths. You have the moon, which is like the moon in tarot, and you have it almost looks like the Two of Swords. So it's like, which path do you want to choose? You're at a crossroads here when it comes to some major beliefs that you were taught or that society teaches us around money, around finances, around wealth, around your own self-worth. And maybe we've been taught all, in a specific way that is built on fears and judgments and criticisms. But this is about being guided. And some of you, maybe you've had to work multiple jobs. Maybe some of you have been exhausted. I am getting here, and it's interesting as well. You may have watched The New Life, Pile 1. If you felt a pull towards that one, you may want to check that out. They also had moon energy, and so we dove into that. But the moon is all about subconscious. It's about truths coming out, shadows coming out when it comes to blockages that maybe you've had in the past financially. That's what you're cutting through here. Okay, you're cutting through situations, and I don't want to say cutting corners, but it almost feels like you're cutting a corner because you've already done the work. So instead of going around the track just one time, you've already been around this track at least 15 times, and you know where the shortcut is at. You know that if you just take this turn a little wider, or if you cut it a little shorter, that you're going to gain a little bit more. And I feel like the tricks, the tools of the trade, and we talked about that prior as well. So some of you, you were dealing with a legal situation, maybe fired. Some of you were treated poorly. Maybe there were some unethical or immoral things that have happened here. And I feel like it put you on the defense, and it put you in a vibration of, attack, even fight or flight. And that could be why we'll go into the next category, detox. I was getting the message of survival, right? The root chakra. So if that resonates with you, you may want to check out the detox pile 3 video. But this is about you choosing, right? Choosing the bright side of things. That's why you have the Sun card. The Sun is the most abundant card aside from the Empress, right? This is all about happiness and enjoying the riches that you have, instead of feeling like someone's going to tug it out from underneath you, because that's that fear base, that's that illusion. Yes, maybe it has happened in the past, but I also feel like you're cutting a corner this time around where you know some of the tricks, you know the trade, like I said. And with the sun showing up, this is about you embracing more abundance and you almost surrendering to the old ways or old beliefs, and integrating or reconfiguring, right? Some new shifts when it comes to finances and money. And once you realize that there's a brighter way or a better way to reach for your abundance, I feel like it's going to flow to you. It's going to be that free flow. Once you make yourself that hollow bone, pile 2, the game changes. And you actually have the Page of Pentacles here as well. So I didn't even see that one drop out, but I feel like this Page of Pentacles, that literally is a message or a new opportunity in the physical or financial world here that's going to allow you better abundance. But we must work through the Three of Swords. We must work through, partnered with the Moon and the Swords, to cut through any of the old stuff, to kind of reconfigure, restructure, and to become that teachable hollow bone here. So this is really quite beautiful, because then you're going to realize that the notes that you play with this flute, right? What did it say? It was the eagle. You're going to be able to play some sort of symphony. And what I mean by that is your own frequencies. You're going to emit a musical frequency within your energy field. And that's going to be a higher frequency of sun. And you're going to see more abundance entering into your world. So definitely new opportunities for new jobs coming in here with the Page of Pentacles. Maybe some of you, as mentioned, going back to school. You could be learning new things. You could be coming at it from a brand new angle even. And you could be aligning your notes where maybe you were playing, you know, a high note C. I mean, I don't know anything about the flute, but maybe you were playing some sort of high note where you're switching that note, you're switching that frequency, and you're going to see what you call in based on some other choice that you choose here. And that's why you have the choice card. So that is what I have for you. Very interesting take on finances. It doesn't surprise me, as a lot of us, we have been so ingrained in, you know, how we feel around finances or money or abundance, that we really just need to kind of become that bone, as it says. Thank you so much for tuning in, Pile 2. I hope this helps you out. If so, please hit that thumbs up button and feel free to jump around and take a look at the other piles as well. Hey, Pile 3, you chose detox, health, and body and chakra systems. Now, the detox energy is all about eliminating toxicity, whether that's patterns, whether it's foods, whether it's, you know, unhealthy things that we tend to fall back into. This is about you working on releasing and eliminating those things. Now, some of you, it may be important to withdraw from drama. It's very important for us to get healthy in the body and in the mind, because sometimes there can be that cognitive dissonance, that separation. This is all about going maybe on a cleanse, dieting, or just focusing on more plant-based vegetables, maybe even more fruits, more veggies. I'm getting here homegrown or maybe homemade meals as well. This is about releasing things that are unhealthy, maybe processed foods. It could be sugars, it could be alcohol, it could be weed, it could be tobacco, whatever it is here for you. I feel like you're trying to cut out certain things because maybe you've become too comfortable with them or too reliant upon them as well. This could even be people. There may even be some facets of codependency in this detox card as well that you want to break free from. So we're going to look at it from many different angles here, but you also received some specific channeled messages that came through with detox, and Spirit was giving me the energy of physical survival, and that has to do with our root chakra. It has to do with our pelvis and our safety, our, you know, shelter, food, water, how we survive here on earth. So some of you may have felt like you were having issues with your root chakra, also known as the base, which can be, in the perineum area all the way down to our toes, right? So some of you may have had issues with the feet, with the toenails, with the ankles, knees, hips region, the buttocks, the pelvic area. So I feel for a lot of you, you're trying to maybe stand on your own 2 feet again. Some of you may have had some sort of surgery go on in those areas, maybe even a lot of lower back pain I'm getting for you as well. Of course, please see the disclaimer in the description box below, but I feel like a lot of you are working on gaining momentum to maybe even physically exercise, right? A lot of things that we can do to help with that root chakra is physical exercising. We can work on different yoga moves to open up the hips, to open up the leg region. Cycling can be a really good one. Biking, walking, running, getting out in nature, maybe even eating root vegetables. And then I also received a very specific message for, hopefully it resonates with more than one of you, but definitely a few, cord cutting. Okay, some of you, it may be very important to do a cord cutting ritual. Now, you don't have to go see someone that costs thousands of dollars to do a cord cutting ritual. You can do these yourself. You can do them. I can help you with them as well. But I feel like it's important for some of you to detach your energy from someone who may be draining you, okay? Please take that as it resonates, because I feel like there could be someone maybe based in childhood. A lot of times that root chakra is formed between the ages of 0 and 7 or so, and it can be different people around that time or that age. It can even be siblings. It can be parents that really have held a strong pull, or it could be specific beliefs that we need to cut ourselves from as well. So the detox card is showing up, and you actually had 3 cards that came out of the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Now we're only going to dive into the book message of one of them, but I will share with you each of them. You have Vanishing Mirror, and this is all about the ego, sublimation here. It is about you being able to take a look at what fears, what illusions the ego brought upon you by experiences, by conditions, by relationships, by family, by society, whatever it is. Because first of all, we all have an ego. It is part of the human experience, because we can have an ego that can help us here on this, on this earthly realm. The ego can bring about fear-based energies of don't walk into the road, right? You're going to get hit. Don't touch that oven. You're going to get burned. So it can help us. And we can have a healthy sense of ego. But for some of us, we have a fear-based ego, and a lot of fears, which, what do I say about fear? False evidence appearing real. And there could be some deep attachments. That's such a difficult thing. We humans, we struggle with. We struggle with attachments to alcohol, to drugs, to relationships, to our pain, to our loss, to our careers, to our family, right? That's a really big thing that constantly is, one of the biggest facets of some healing, some dis-ease within the body. It's when we hang on so tightly that we tend to smother, we tend to neglect, or we tend to feel overburdened or overpowered by the attachment we have to something or someone. And this is about, submerging through, shattering some sort of illusion, right? And that is about you gaining clarity on something that may be becoming exposed. Some of you, there may have even been some history, family dynamics that have been passed down. Maybe you were told that, every single female, maybe it's not just told, maybe it's proof. Maybe every single family member on the female or your mother's side has crossed from Cancer. And maybe, you were told that that was going to happen to you, and you're thinking, no, it's not. I'm not going to go have cancer. I'm breaking the cycle here. So I feel like you're diving into maybe holistic health, nutrition. It wouldn't surprise me if some of you even have businesses or career practices that are based on wellness, health, nursing. This can be Reiki energy. It can be CBD products, things of that nature as well. But I feel like on a deep soul level, you are called to learn more about healing on a soul level, not just going to a doctor, taking a pill and hoping that everything's better, right? This is about you asking questions. And we actually talk about this in pile 1. If you haven't checked out New Life, we talk about getting to a deeper sense of connection, going beyond, because ignorance isn't bliss. And you're realizing that real quickly. Just because you didn't know about something doesn't mean that you're not going to have it manifest. It's actually quite the opposite. Ignorance can really get us into a place of complacement and a place that, we don't want to be. And then when we get there, we're thinking, whoa, how did we get here? I didn't know about that. But you're diving into it deeper. And for a lot of you, it has to do with this root girl. And this is the card that Spirit is choosing to dive into, because it's the disowned self. So we talked about that cognitive dissonance. We talk about a little of the separation. Now we do have sacral chakra, which is the next chakra above the root, which I was picking up on the safety, the survival. But I also get here heart and throat for a lot of you. So definitely maybe some depression, isolation, loneliness. There could have been something with heart, with lungs. So we can look at that here in a moment. That may be part of this root girl as well. Now, some of you may be 58 years old, you may be 46, or you're born on the 11th. But this is all about hidden beauty and the need for acceptance and love. Root girl sits here shivering, unclean and naked at the base of the tree of the self. She is unloved, unwanted, and shunned for her deformities. She has no home, but is safe burrowing underground to dwell near the deepest roots of this sacred tree. Who is she to you? Could this urchin be the one part of you that reintegrated can lead you to wholeness and a true purpose? This is a part of you, collective, the embodiment of a deeply flawed perception of your failures manifesting as guilt and shame. When you project envy onto others or any emotion or instinct that you've learned to repress or deem unnatural, it's this homeless child self crying for attention, acceptance, and love. You want to lash out, ignore it, push it aside, all the while refusing to acknowledge this ugly quality as belonging to you. But if you would only look into the root girl's eyes and see the beauty and the unmet need, your unmet need, you would realize that this part of you asks for your compassion and understanding. This part of you was born when you were wounded and were conditioned to believe that you're not whole, that your expression of self is somehow too much or too little. You may have even inherited this creature from your ancestors. However, it was this child self came to be curled up at the roots of your sacred tree self. It's time to welcome her into your heart. When you do, everything you've been searching for becomes illuminated, and your path lights up with renewed purpose. When you come to love Root Girl and claim her as your own, accepting her and your humanity, she is transformed just as you are. Then all the manner of the magic begins to arrive in abundant form. Look for the beauty. Wow, that is a deep, deep message, right? All of the deformities, that homely, that, the parts of yourself, the parts of ourselves, collective, that we shove to the side because at one point or another we were told that we're unlovable, that we're not good enough, that we're a failure, right? Through maybe ancestors, as it mentioned, through relationships, through any conditioning that we've gone through, any experience can make you feel this way at some point or another. Can you love her as well? Very powerful message here because we're getting deep, right? This is about getting deep. It's not just about Melissa coming in saying, hey, go get your teeth checked. You may have to get a root canal, right? No, this is about why. Why do we have this root canal? Why are our teeth hurting? Why are we tossing and turning? What is going on a deeper root level? And that's why Root Girl is showing up here. And it's also this very bright orangish yellow color, which has to do with the sacral chakra. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. So you have here deep quiet, meditation, and stillness. It's also card 11. That is the energy of justice, right? Libran energy. It's all about equality and fairness. It's about truth. And you're getting the energy here of truth numerous times. So what's the truth of who you are, right? You are a divine spark. You're a divine soul having this human experience. And those human experiences do not define who you are. It's part of, part of the experience, but it doesn't mean that you are broken. Just because you felt that way doesn't mean that's what you are. The feelings are part of, the ego. That's part of the human experience, to have the human feelings, right? So I feel for a lot of you, you're coming to some sort of realization that not only can we heal ourselves, but you're understanding why something has been reoccurring, why some sort of illness or skin condition or pain or, surgery, why something is happening here for you. It's happening for you. That's just it. Not to you. Not because you're a victim singled out, even though Root Girl feels that way at times. That Root Girl feels separated, but that's the separated piece of her. Remember, she belongs to all of us at some point or another. All right, we have meditation. So I feel for a lot of you, you may be practicing more meditative qualities. You may be getting in touch with your spiritual gifts. You could be doing a lot of healing through hypnosis, meditation, dream state, astral travel. So deep quiet. You may want to start sitting with your thoughts or your emotions instead of constantly busying yourself. Journal, reflect. Be mindful of what's happening and what's going on. I just heard here animals and nature. That can be very healing as well. Now, you are protected. And that may be why I was really picking up on the physical survival, right? It can be while you change, maybe you're thinking about changing careers. Maybe some of you have felt like you weren't safe to express yourself, express who you are in your career, express who you really wanted to be in a relationship. Maybe you always felt like you had to be the protector, or maybe you felt like you had to wear some sort of armor in order for you to not get hurt. Spirit is saying it's okay to allow yourself to come out of this hiding, right? It's okay for you to accept all of what has happened, but know that you are protected on a divine spiritual level, as well as I feel for a lot of you, there's physical protection that you need to know you have here. Next, we have sacral chakra. It's card 2. And also with the Root Girl, she has a lot of those orangish colors, and that root chakra can be related to our creativity. It's located about 2 inches below the belly button region, so it can sometimes have to do with the reproductive organs or, the colon. I'm getting gut. It kind of even goes, I'm getting for some of you, it is going to go into the solar plexus, so the belly, and it can be lower back. It can be our sensuality, our passion for life. And some of us, it just felt like we've lost that passion. We've lost that fire for life, because this is, even though it's orange and it can be that fiery creative energy, it also has to do with a lot of water. So we can heal through water, through, bathing, cleansing. This is also water therapy, drinking more water. It's about reflecting. Yoga can be very helpful as well, and paying attention and sitting with our emotions, because the sacral chakra can be about our relationships with others and our relationships with ourselves, especially when it does come to maybe the opposite sex. So if romance or if trust has been a factor for you, you may want to check out pile 4. So definitely some sacral stuff going on. Some of you have even had a Kundalini awakening, or if not, you may want to look into that to dive more more into that category, that could be very beneficial. And some of you are working on pleasure and intimacy with self, right? In order for you to trust yourself, so you raise your vibrations to attract and call in a soulmate or a partner who you can trust, who you can feel safe with, who you can feel intimate with. And I'm not talking just on a, on a physical level. This is intimacy that goes beyond the physical. And lastly here, when it comes to detox, you have rest and rejuvenate. This is the Four of Swords. Some of you have been overworking, overthinking, ignoring the signs your body has been telling you. If that's the case and you've been ignoring, remember what we said, ignorance isn't bliss here. Just because you ignore it does not mean it's going to go away. If anything, it's going to come rear its ugly head and it's going to be worse. So take care of it now. If you've been putting away that chiropractic appointment, waiting to schedule that eye appointment or whatever it may be. Maybe you've been really wanting a good massage or some Reiki work, energy work done. This is the time to seek professional guidance, professional help. Talk to a soul coach, talk to a therapist, a mentor, healer. For those of you that really need this R&R time, now is the time for you to say yes, okay? Don't put your health on hold. Your health should be number one. All right, that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I hope it resonates. If so, please hit that thumbs up button. It certainly helps get the divine channeled messages out there, and feel free to hit that subscribe and bell button if you haven't already. And jump to another theme if you feel so called. If not, thank you so much for tuning in. Lots of love. Hey, pile 4, you chose romance. So chances are you may be in a relationship and you're wondering, what do I do from here? Some of you may be single and you're wondering, when is love going to happen? Or how can I be the best version of myself through self-love and acts of kindness for myself in order to attract what it is I truly desire? Now we'll take a look at all cases here. If you're in a relationship, if you are single, or if you're tangled up in you here, we'll take a look at it all. So romance can certainly be about marriage. It can be about unions, strong bonds. It can be about desire, passion, intimacy. And for some of you, you may want to jump to the detox portion of the reading, because there's a lot around the sacral chakra, which can be aligned with relationships, pleasure, and intimacy as well, because that could help you with some of the maybe blockages that have shown up when it comes to romance. Now, this is also soulmate energy. I'm getting some of you karmic relationships, some of you twin flame, but this is about intimacy, trust, love, passion, and desire. So I am seeing here that a lot of you have struggled with maybe the intention, right? It's like intention is good, but it's like trying to string that the string in the needle, in the eye of the needle here, and it's like you keep missing, right? I keep trying to poke the string in, but you keep missing. Or it feels like you finally got the string in, but then it gets pulled back out quite quickly, because the eye of the needle is all about your intention. It's also card 17, and they're showing me this here, and they're right, 17 and 17, you actually have the star card. So 2 17s here are all about, you being able to heal from maybe relationships that were toxic, right? Maybe even narcissistic, very controlling. Some of you were in a codependent dynamic, or maybe you still are. What is your intention? And that's what all of these key themes are here for you today, to set the intention on what you want to work towards in 2024. So when it comes to romance, what do you want to feel? What type of energy do you want to feel between you and another person? When it comes to yourself, how does trust feel to you? Do you trust yourself to make decisions that are in your highest good? Are you staying stuck in some sort of limiting pattern or limiting belief that may hold you back from, having this clear intention. Maybe you've said to yourself, I'm going to be single forever, or I'm going to meet the same type of person that I met last time. So really pay attention to your self-talk, collective, because I feel like intentionality is really important here. And actually, we're going to take a look. I was only going to read to you the one, which is the Dragon's Hoard, protecting the future, but Spirit is honing in on this intentionality card. So we're going to take a peek at that when it comes to love, because I do feel for a lot of you, this is about clarity, and there's going to be a very beautiful outcome regardless of what situation you are currently going through, because it does say here, intentionality, clarity, and positive outcomes. And you actually have a positive outcome, which we'll talk about here in just a moment. Because if you look through the eye of the needle, what do you see? Summon the experience of being so singularly focused on the task ahead that it becomes natural to remove everything that is superfluous, every distraction, every non-essential, so that you do succeed. What is, in this case, the definition of success, or in your case, in the definition of love? What does that mean for you? In order for the threading of the needle to happen, everything not in alignment with your goals need to go. Okay, what is not in alignment? Perhaps it is some things that need to be let go of. Maybe there's nagging. Maybe there is complaining about what this person does not offer you. Maybe there is some triggers within you. Maybe you don't like the way a person looks or smells or dresses, right? Perhaps there are some character flaws, or maybe there are some toxic patterns. Whatever does not feel in alignment, right? I feel like it's important for you to get rid of those distractions, okay? Not saying that, of course, if someone has something small, maybe you don't like the way their hands look, not to say get rid of them. That's not at all it, but it could be something within yourself. Why is that person's hands bothering you? So I feel like you're looking at things where, is this really even important? Is this something that I need to take a closer look at? Am I being superficial? Is this something that, I can set a clear intention to get the result that I want in a union or in a relationship? This is the only way you'll get what you need. Shrewd discernment, the willingness to winnow down the needle thread connection in its essence. The eye of the needle looks so tiny, but once your intention threads through it, a vast opportunity is presented on the other side. The needle can mend. It can sew things together to make something meaningful and new. You are experiencing success right now. Stay true to your desires, to the work you need to accomplish, so you can be laser focused, pile 4, on the experiences of creating and manifesting, because the outcome is assured by divine forces. So there's something working in your favor here, but you must release whatever distractions are causing you to get that needle, right? That shaky hand of getting the needle, whether maybe you need someone else to help you get the needle. Maybe this is you connecting to your higher self and saying, okay, what do I need to do to eliminate all of those things? So setting intention is strong. And for some of you, maybe you are protecting your future. And it's interesting because you have protecting the future, and then right below it, you did have children that came out. And I kept hearing the song, We Are, Youth of the Nation. I forget who sings that. But for some of you, this is all about protecting, the future. If you have children, possibly, what is the intention of, why you're choosing what you are choosing here? Is it in the highest good of all? And for some of you, especially if this is a codependent dynamic and children are involved, I feel like you are protected, and there's some major healing that is taking place here. Okay, but there's something about surrendering and letting the experience happen organically, instead of trying to choose based on maybe what you think is best and going against the tide. Okay, so for example, Maybe you have children with someone and you're staying with them because you think that's what's best for your children, and you're resisting the change that's being offered or that's calling, and maybe that change is to leave the relationship so you can be happier, but at the same time you don't want to tear apart a family because then you're going to have to, the children or child is going to have to go between homes. So perhaps you think it's in the highest good of the child to stay, but really Spirit's saying, but is it, right? It may not be in the highest good. Maybe that's what we think is in the highest good, but it's not, okay? You're protected. And in order to kind of protect the future as well, I feel like you must let something heal. You must be willing to surrender to the divine plan, which you already know about, but fear could be blocking you from seeing what that plan is, okay? Now, some of you, if you're single, this is the year for you to get out there and flirt. Maybe rejoin life again. Maybe change up your style, change up your hair. Some of you extend your lighthearted energy to others. Maybe get your dancing shoes on, or go out to a comedy club, or just put yourself out there. Maybe say something or do something that it's kind of outside the box for you, but I feel like you're going to be excited by being able to open yourself up. I get here, okay, I'm getting this energy of like young love, teenage love. Maybe some of you, you've been in a union since you were young. Okay, that's not going to resonate with everyone, but you also have here some sort of upbringing, some sort of spiritual path. For a lot of you, this is a past life connection. It says your love life is influenced by your religious or upbringing or spiritual path. Some of you, I'm just going to say it here, you came together due to some sort of trauma bond. You came here thinking that you were going to fix someone. Maybe it was a karmic relationship where you had to learn disengagement, boundaries, maybe codependent dynamics, maybe addictions. You've come here to learn about self-love. And I feel like there's some sort of spiritual path where maybe you're hanging on because you think that you have to be in this dynamic, or you feel like you owe it to this person. But I feel like Spirit is saying there's some sort of shift that's happening here. And some of you are meant to kind of part ways at this time. Some of you are calling in twin flame energy because you're setting that intention. And I feel when both parties set that intention and it's aligned on a spiritual level, that's when you can meet in the physical. Okay. For those of you that have gone through a situation where trust may have been breached, okay, because this situation, there's a new situation coming in 2024 that is calling for you, pile 4, to have trust. Because I feel like there's someone new coming in here that you can count on. You may even meet this person through a friend group. Okay, you have the 3 of Wands here. There could be certain partnerships and alliances that are made. This is someone who has a helping hand. And this isn't just a little tiny shake. Look at that. Their hands are really connected. This is the kind of shake or the kind of hold that if someone needs to be pulled up from something, like, I got you, right? I got you. There's going to be clear communication with the blue highlighted here. And then you see the purple. This is a spiritual contract. It's a spiritual union. So I definitely feel like there is trust here, and you can trust another person. For those of you that are single and you're looking for love, there's definitely here Ace of Cups energy, and that's the outcome here. So we are skipping ahead, pile 4, but I think it's important for you to realize that first and foremost, self-love is vital. It's the relationship with self, right? Because we can't drink from an empty cup. And I feel like you have done the work. And now that there's a rainbow coming in here, because a lot of you have gone through the storm. And for some of you, you are being called to not only build trust, but to maybe even release someone, because you have released your ex in order to have this new beginning. The time has come to clear your energy. Even if some of you haven't physically seen your ex-partner for 10 years, there could still be some resentment, some bitterness, or some cloudy factors that may be prolonging this new beginning from entering into your world. Okay, now you have the healing card here. You have the star with the chariot. So you have 2 major arcanas. I feel that a lot of you in 2024 are wrapping up some healing that you have been doing on, many different levels. And I feel for a lot of you, By July of 2024, Cancerian season here, you're going to really be in that energy of happiness, of success, of a big win. This is really beautiful because the stars are aligning. This is saying don't give up on your dreams. There's hope here that things are going to move forward. So regardless of relationship status, for those of you that are happily married, or maybe there is struggle, maybe due to children, due to trust, I feel like there's definitely intention setting being put into play here, and some deep healing that's taking place either with a person or without. But you're going to see by mid-year, things really start to take a turn, and there is new spark to existing relationships, or there's brand new energies coming in because you've chose to heal and to release the past, or release a past person. Okay, so when it does come to romance, I definitely see you triumphantly moving forward. And I'm also getting with this star card, it's like you were promised something in the past that didn't turn out. It's like you thought you knew. You're thinking, well, Melissa, I set the intention. I wanted to be with this person, that we could protect our future together. And then something may have happened. Maybe someone crossed over. Some of you are widows. Some of you may have been, a breach of trust. Maybe something turned out where you felt completely stuck. You had to surrender and say, okay, wow, I was just left at the altar, or I was left all alone, or there's just something here that kind of really broken your sense of security. Let's just take a look here and dive in. We're not going to spend too much time on the past, but I want to see what this was for you. Okay, 7 of Pentacles. It's like what you were putting in, you weren't getting back, is what I feel here with the 7 of Pentacles. I feel like there was a rush job. Someone gave up without putting in enough effort, or it didn't work out the way that you thought it would, right? You can see that there's a potion or something happening in the background, but it's like something got too much and it may have kind of exploded. It's like too much baking soda in the science project. Whoosh, it kind of explodes everywhere. And I feel like some sort of recipe, it was a recipe for disaster for some of you. But let's take a look at this new energy coming in. What do we have for the new energy coming in, please, for pile 4, for the collective? What's this new energy? Yeah, someone is currently healing at this time, which we have with the sun, but we also have the death. Oh my gosh, you can't make this up. Beautiful. 5 of Cups, healing. 5 of Cups is the card of, maybe disappointment, emotional loss. It can be grief. It can be, focusing on some things that have hurt you in the past, but now you're not doing that any longer. You had to go through that time, right? And they just showed me 1:11:01 on the clock. So yeah, some of you went through some major disappointment or grief, but you're not bringing that into 2024 because the death says you're putting a close to a situation. There's something that's ending here for you. What's ending is this grief, because what you're doing is you're looking behind you and seeing that, look at that. There's 2 cups in that tree behind her, and look at this, 2 of Cups. This is beautiful energy, pile 4. So for those of you that are wanting love, this is soulmate. This is twin flame. It can be beautiful connections that are based on love, but they have the right recipe here. Look at that. You actually have the 7 of Pentacles, and it's almost looking like the same thing, right? It's like this recipe didn't work out. What happened? What did I not put enough into? What did this person not put into? You've learned some very valuable lessons in matters of the heart, but you're putting something to an end here. Something could also be revitalized. You can see with the death card that the wings are on fire. So there could even been a Kundalini awakening, which we talk about in the detox pile as well. So I feel for a lot of you, you are definitely coming back into alignment with yourself, with your heart. But yes, it doesn't mean that you haven't went through some pain in the past, but it also means when you look to the, look to what's left. You have the 2 cups, and I love how it's presenting itself physically with the card 2 of cups here showing up. So that is what I have for you, pile 4. Definitely opportunities to come into alignment with your higher self, with soulmate, twin flame, partnerships that are based on trust, that are based on reciprocity. I mean, the 2 of cups is a very important relationship, and there is a high level of intimacy and attraction, not just physical, but on all different levels, where the 2 of you just get each other. You understand each other on a soul level. It's like you can almost finish each other's sentences before the other person even says it. You're able to feel and tune in. They ask you, are you okay? There is this reciprocity and this equal give and take that maybe you've never felt before, or it's been a long time since you felt that in a union. That is what I have for you, pile 4. I hope it resonates. If so, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button. It certainly helps get the divine channeled messages out there to those that need it most. Thank you so very much for tuning in today. Lots of love.